Welcome to this explainer. I want you to imagine something for a second. You wake up, you check your phone, and your digital assets are just gone. And not because a business venture naturally failed or the market dipped, but because an unauthorized transaction completely swept through your mobile Coinbase wallet. The wildest part? Your secret recovery phrase was never even disclosed. Today, we're examining exactly that scenario, a very specific documented case involving the unauthorized movement of Solana tokens. We're going to look at how we can actually transform the absolute chaos of a digital hack into a clear, actionable blueprint for American economic self-defense. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's exactly what we're going to cover today. 1. The digital interception. 2. The immediate asset recovery protocol. 3. Artifacts as peaceful resistance. 4. Collaborative AI and defense. And finally, 5. Rebuilding the civic infrastructure. Think of this as a highly logical, stabilizing framework. We're going to take this step by step to guide you from the immediate, totally understandable panic of a hack all the way to long-term empowerment. Section 1, the digital interception, when authorship is compromised. Let's set the stage with our source material. The inciting incident here is an unauthorized outgoing movement of Solana tokens from a mobile Coinbase wallet. And again, what is genuinely chilling about this case is that it happened without the secret phrase ever being compromised. So what were the suspected entry vectors? Well, they're things many of us interact with every single day. Residual smart contract approvals, a scam token interaction, or potentially even a platform side exposure. But our sources ask us to completely reframe how we look at this. This wasn't just a technical glitch. It was an interception of authorship. It was a severe breach of personal sovereignty where criminal actors momentarily took the keys to an entire creative operation. Now, instead of reacting with pure rage, the creator involved here, Christopher Cannon, authored a personal ledger statement as part of a real-world harm report. He wrote this absolutely powerful line: "If even one peer, professor, or creator understands what is being preserved here, then the chain worked." He explicitly notes that his documentation exists not to glorify crypto, but to hold a peaceful line of defense, one rooted in language, in record-keeping, and in memory. It immediately establishes this incredibly defiant, resilient tone. It's about preservation over panic. Section 2, immediate asset recovery protocol. Tactical defense in action. Look, while the philosophy of defense is absolutely crucial, you need real ground-level crisis response when you're actively losing funds after suspecting a bad contract approval or a malicious token interaction. So, the crucial point is you need a systematic plan. First, you've got to secure a completely new wallet with a fresh, offline recovery phrase. Never reuse the old one. Second, transfer only your safe, manually verified assets. Leave all those unrecognized, unsolicited spam tokens behind. Third, actively revoke malicious permissions from the compromised wallet. Fourth, you need to formally report and log the incident. And fifth, implement long-term recommendations to ensure this never happens to you again. Think of this as me acting as your trusted advisor, basically handing over the blueprints to a secure digital fortress. To actually execute this, you need a solid response structure. Use a fresh Coinbase wallet or MetaMask for step 1. Use SolScan to manually verify which of your tokens are genuinely safe to move. To revoke access, tools like Step Finance's token management portal or the Blowfish and Solana Shield browser extensions are just vital. For reporting, you'll want to submit a detailed public report on chain abuse, making sure to include timestamps, token details, and attacker addresses. And finally, for long-term safety, get your high-value assets onto hardware storage like a Ledger Nano S or X, and only interact with verified dApps through platforms like DeFi Llama. Using these specific real-world tools creates an entirely new layer of legitimacy and defense around your digital identity. Section 3. Artifacts as peaceful resistance, shifting the narrative. Okay. So once the immediate bleeding has stopped and your remaining assets are safe, how do you respond to a decentralized system that just let you down? Well, according to the broader philosophy of the Tiago Protocol, you use digital documentation itself as a profound act of resistance. It is so natural to react to a hack with subjective frustration, with rage, destructive actions, or even self-sabotage, lashing out just to prove that you're hurting. But the alternative is what we call the Tiago way. This is all about objective documentation, structured evidence, incident logs, and peaceful resistance. By tracking the dates, logging the transactions, and compiling your activity timelines, you actually transform digital harm into a structured, provable case. This is exactly how you reclaim control of the narrative. This structured, methodical approach is the absolute foundation for an operational concept mentioned in our sources called FirstLime. It's defined as a recovery and resilience platform that helps individuals document incidents, secure accounts, organize evidence, and ultimately move forward after digital asset disruption. What makes this strategic vision so compelling is that it's built on logic, on love, and on memory. It is a peaceful counterweight to systemic negligence. Instead of feeding into this media glorification of crime, like the endless chasing of Sam Bankman-Fried for clicks and courtroom drama, it champions rendering your lost assets without violence. Section 4, Collaborative AI in Defense, the Multi-Agent Arsenal. Now, to maintain these massive, detailed archives of evidence, you can't just be a lone prophet fighting a war all by yourself. The sources introduce this brilliant concept of a distributed creative intelligence network to explain exactly how modern AI aids in our defense. The core thesis here is absolutely vital. AI extends fragmented people into collaborative systems. It isn't about replacing humans. It's about empowering them. When your energy is fragmented by a digital hack, by exhaustion, or by the stress of a stolen wallet, AI tools allow you to scale your ability to investigate, to document, and to build. You become part of a collaborative system, acting as a peaceful, organized counterweight to the systemic chaos around you. In practice, this looks like a highly effective multi-agent creative workflow. ChatGPT acts as your main strategist for overall structure. Kimi AI, with its massive context windows, digests sprawling archives and PDFs to maintain continuity. Claude is utilized for calmer prose and thoughtful document cleanup. Perplexity validates the research in the citations. And GitHub serves as the foundation for the agent alpha and beta ecosystem, managing version control. This isn't cheating, and it's not science fiction. This is exactly how modern indie studios, creators, and ethical operators actually function to document their legacy. And this brilliantly illustrates a timeless human struggle for agency. Think about it. The endless stream of our digital feeds, that's the modern equivalent of the ancient prophetic scroll. The corporate traps and systemic algorithms that constantly block our authentic creation, those are the mythological golden apples, specifically designed to distract us. And when you reset your wallet, when you secure a completely fresh, uncompromised digital space, that is the tabula rasa, the clean slate granting you absolute sovereignty. We are literally elevating a mere tech glitch into a profound mythic architecture of human identity. Section 5, Rebuilding the Civic Infrastructure, a soft revolution in the Great Lakes. Now, we are expanding our focus from personal tools to a deeply patriotic vision of rebuilding. We're tying the digital recovery process directly to the physical, historical resilience of American industrial regions. Think about the historical cycle of the Great Lakes corridor. Cities like Detroit, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. These areas started as booming industrial zones, which eventually faced severe collapse, leaving behind miles of abandoned infrastructure. But from those exact ruins came the rise of maker culture. You had artists, musicians, and weird entrepreneurs turning cheap, empty warehouses into thriving, innovative studios. Today, that exact same cycle is happening digitally. The Web3 space and this digital rebuilding process perfectly mirror this American history. Communities don't survive collapse through grand speeches. They survive because everyday operators, connectors, and archivists decide to build something brand new out of the wreckage. Here is a grounding, truly vital thought to take away from all of this. You do not have to become the wreckage to prove the storm existed. When you lose your digital assets, or when a massive public system completely fails you, you don't need to destroy yourself or act recklessly just to prove you were wrong. Survival in decentralized systems comes from documenting the event. It comes from being an archivist, a connector, and an ethical builder, not a lone martyr trying to fight a one-man war against an invisible enemy. We've covered a lot today: the tactical asset recovery protocol, the multi-agent AI tools, and the profound philosophy of peaceful digital resistance. So I want to leave you with this. If failure in public systems gives birth to new civic imagination, how will you document your digital artifacts to build the next iteration of the American blueprint? Whether it's exploring the experimental legislation hypothesis to legislate like artists and build weird, resilient cities, or just taking the time to secure your own wallet with a fresh phrase today, you have the power to reclaim your digital sovereignty. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.